Hello, beautiful soul. I've been on a bit of a hiatus and I'm back. It is the new improved me, a new name, a slightly different shave, and a renewed sense of purpose and mission. So if you didn't know this, I was off in Miami speaking at Wonderland, one of the big psychedelic conferences. And then I flew to Costa Rica to sit in ceremony with Ayahuasca and to give a couple of guest workshops at 1Dreah Life Advancement Center. And on my fourth night of Ayahuasca, I had a rebirth experience. So if you don't know what Ayahuasca can do, I will be explaining that in a separate video and really sharing how many of us are called to this medicine. It's like being called onto a hero's journey. But in that fourth night, I was really struggling. Someone wants to say hi. There's Lisa. I was really struggling on that fourth night with just a sense of like guilt and remorse of things in the past. And for some reason, it wasn't breaking. Normally with ayahuasca, it breaks down that ego and gets right to the core of stuff, but it hadn't broken for me. And so I went up to the shaman, this wise medicine man named Mitra Politi. You can check out a video that I did with him. And Mitra gave me a little special blessing, blew the magic potion on me and patted me down, said a magic prayer over me, and then administered a special cup of yahe. So yahe is the Colombian brew of ayahuasca that has slightly different stuff in it, but it's essentially ayahuasca. They call it yahe. And within 15 minutes of going back to my mattress, whoo-wee, I was like blasted out of that stuckness, and I was able to just let go of the past and regret, and I was able to also be in communion with one of my Tibetan lineage, Green Tara, and it was so healing and so nurturing. And then came the purge. Yes, if you know ayahuasca, you know that you purge, either sweating, crying, laughing, yawning, peeing, pooping, or vomiting. And for me, the purge came in the form of vomit after all the tears. And what's interesting is oftentimes when we are purging, when we are letting go of something energetically and physically and emotionally and spiritually, we are made aware of what we're letting go of. And so as I was over the bucket, I recognized that I was letting go of all of that old story from the past. All the way through my lineage, my ancestral lineage, it was as if it was being wiped clean. I puked out the old 1Dreah Pennington. And I remember getting to this point, kind of seeing and understanding what the medicine was doing for me, and then kind of asking well, who am I if I'm not that? What's gonna happen when I get back? What are my relationships gonna be like? What's my company gonna be like? And once again, I called on my Guru Rinpoche, and got massive downloads about what's next for me. And it was in that moment that I knew that 1Dreah Pennington, as we have known and loved her, she's gone. I am Dae'Ess 1Dreah. That is the new name. You shall see it percolating throughout cyberspace. Dae'Ess 1Dreah. And instead of my birth name, this is my chosen name, and it really represents who I am. And what does that mean? Well, all it means is that I have a new lease on life. And a lot of people will talk about having a rebirth experience, whether you're doing that with the Groff technique of holotropic breath work or any of the sacred breathwork lineages, and with ayahuasca, and with iboga, and with even psilocybin mushrooms. Quite often we can go through a rebirth process. Sometimes that feels like a physical rebirth, going from the womb through the vaginal canal and coming out. And for many people, when they have a rebirth experience, they just feel like a new and better version of themselves, their old self. Whereas with me, this new birth was whoa, I am new and I felt like a new soul strengthening or whatever. I don't know. I'm still at a loss for words for this, and I know that sounds batshit crazy to most people, and I don't care, because one of the things that purging in these ceremonies has done for me is remove all old conditioning. And I mean most of the heavy conditioning. The conditioning that made me feel like I was not good enough, that I needed to do more or be more in order to get love or in order to be safe. Like worrying. How many years did I worry about what people thought of me or if I was good enough? Like I wasted so much time and energy. And when that lifted, that lifted for me last year, like in a dramatic way. So much so that I wrote a song called I'm Free. If you haven't heard it, check it out. But when that lifted for me, it was like, why would I care what anyone thinks? Like, if they're not the ones putting food on the table or furthering my cause, then why would I care? I'm the one that has to wake up feeling good about myself and my goals. I'm the one that has to show up in my relationship with my child and my beloved and my clients and students. So all these other things out there that really weren't even out there, they were all in my mind. It was like my inner critic was worrying about these supposed haters. So I say all of that to say, yes, it sounds incredibly wild, weird, wacky, and woo-woo. And I am now the self-declared queen of woo. And I embrace that. I fully embrace it. This is me. So what does that mean for you? Well, hopefully you will join us on one of our conscious evolution retreats and have your own experience of expanded states of consciousness through breathwork, through psilocybin mushrooms. We do those where they are legal, including in Mexico. In April of 2023, myself and my dear friend, John Jacob Mubarak, will be in Puerto Vallarta with some indigenous medicine keepers who will be serving psilocybin mushrooms during that retreat. That's April. I will also be working with psilocybin truffles, magic truffles, in Amsterdam in October of 2023, and that is a women's only retreat. You could also come to Omega Institute, where I will be at the end of June, early July, for resilience and self-love. Like, how do you call forward these qualities, these top 10 traits of resilience and this real self-love? We won't be using any psychedelics, but we will be using breathwork and meditation and yoga and journaling and helping you reprogram your mind and tune into your authentic self. And then I will be back at Omega Institute in September of 2023 with my dear friend and colleague, my soul sister, Dr. Jill Stocker. She and I are co-facilitating a retreat called Reclaim Your Feminine Power. This is for women and female identifying people who want to reclaim and stoke that fire of divine femininity, healing womb trauma, and embracing who you really came to this planet to be. So I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to seeing you in person. If you didn't know it, we are also publishing the second edition of the Top 10 Traits of Highly Resilient People. If you'd like to get in the next edition of this book, let me know. There's a link below this video with information about our global author program, where you can submit a story about one of these top 10 traits of resilience, or submit a story about sacred medicine. So I am publishing a new book called Sacred Medicine, where we are exploring stories from around the world of people who have sat with or served sacred medicine. That can be plant, fungi, frog, toad, cacti. It could be even synthetic, like LSD or MDMA. So we're looking at mescaline and 5-MeO-DMT, psilocybin, and of course, ayahuasca and ibogaine, cacao, and sacred tobacco. All of these are things that we would love to hear stories about. So if you or someone you know would like to contribute a story to one of these books, Sacred Medicine or the Top 10 Traits of Highly Resilient People, then please check out the link below. Whew, what an update. Well, welcome to my new year of life as Dae'Ess 1Dreah. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.